Oh, we're going. Probably in a few seconds, anyways.
Going where, Eric? Where are we
We're
going?
going to Streamtown. We're gonna take the Streamtown bus to Night City, and then we're gonna stick it to the man and their shitty neon lit corporations, cause we're cyberpunks. You
And
gonna
we're
punch.
breathtaking.
We're gonna punch some
You're
deck
you're breathtaking.
and ride our hoverboards. And what else was I?
Punch deck.
Yeah, punch deck. I always get
Beef punch
the,
beef.
the first one. The first cyberpunk thing I ever read was Snow Crash, and then I didn't read a lot of the like Neuromancer and the William Gibson stuff until a few years after that. So my vision is always like fancy cars for delivering pizzas and bimbo boxes and that stuff. But that is only a thing that was inspired by the old Neuromancer and that shit. And I
Well,
don't. This
jack
game
into
is,
your Ono Sendai and find a lady with razor blades in her
Yeah.
hands and
Cyberpunk
Yes,
is based on like a tabletop RPG, right?
Yes, correct.
Somebody made that was called Cyberpunk. So this game is what, like 3 years old now?
three. Oh, yeah, only I don't know when
I
my
I think
mind
it came out in 2020. I think it was like at the end of 2020 was when the busted ass version of this came out.
Yes.
much
I-
maligned.
Correct.
Uh,
Yes.
Well, it wasn't
Yes.
maligned at the time. It was so bad at the time that I bought it. So it's probably worth mentioning that Witcher 3 was my favorite game in 2015, and one of the games that I like, probably one of, at the time, I certainly would have said was one of my favorite games I'd ever played. And I was
Pretty good game.
pretty excited for this, and then as the marketing really sucked, and how it and some of the stuff on their Twitter sucked with how they were like being weird about transgender people. Now some of that stuff was portrayed in the game, and then there was all the technical issues and some pretty mediocre writing and some so-so reviews and just there was a lot of cruft around it. But I bought it because I wanted to see, and then I got my money back because it fucking wasn't worth $60 in the fall of 2020. But now 3 years later, they've supposedly cleaned up a lot of that stuff, and allegedly a lot of the bad marketing was just bad marketing, and maybe it doesn't show up so much in the game. But now they've added some fancy new ray tracing stuff, some full path tracing they call it, which just means that
That's like the extra cheese ray tracing.
yeah, it's ray tracing, so it traces so many rays so far that even the super high end 4090 cards
Can't run it like
yeah, can
60
barely
FPS.
run it without the DLSS stuff turned on. So I got a 4080, and if I run it at 14, well, that if I run it at, I'm streaming at 1080. That's the size of the window that I'm running it in, because that's also the same resolution of the stream. It's also worth mentioning that I'm only outputting at like 30. My bitrate is like 3500, I think. So I don't know how much of this stuff is actually going to be visible in the stream. But we're going to play around with it a little bit. So we'll turn on the full path tracing, and leave the ray tracing turned way up, and everything else is turned up about as high as it can go. I've turned off a lot of the film grain and the motion blur and stuff, because I just don't really like that stuff in games, and also it tends to make things look weird. And we'll leave the DLSS resolution and frame generation stuff turned off for now. We'll see how bad the frame rate is. I know we could run the benchmark, but a lot of this stuff isn't really that visible to me inside a lot of the areas, because there's so much noise. Like, there's so many different colored lights and things in the bars in the city that it's really hard to like see some of the subtle stuff that ray tracing actually does well. Because like when you watch like Digital Foundry breakdowns of what ray tracing does well, it's like, look at the way the light filters through these trees and then like throws like a semi-realistic looking shadow on the ground that moves when the object moves. And
No shadows when you got 85 light sources.
Right, exactly, right. The lighting is super harsh, or there's a lot of smoke in the air, or particles in the air, and it's just kind of hard to see that stuff. But my general experience with ray tracing is that unless it's like ooh, boy, that frame rate. But like you can see the way that the light is kind of like reflecting off this tile here. This looks pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
But also, I don't know what's going on with this lady's clothes. I don't know, is it supposed to look like that?
Probably.
Maybe.
Maybe there's like a black light above your head, or oh wow. Well, I don't know. That's pretty futuristic, right? It's like her entire clothing is made out of Kanye sunglasses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like this area here with the way these tiles reflect the light is one of the things that I noticed that look the best with the ray tracing stuff turned on. So you can see like the way that like that open sign and the chillax sign, like the way they bounce and the way that like different tiles have slightly different reflective properties. I think some of that stuff is pretty cool. Like now if I go in from there and turn off the ray tracing or we'll try turning it down and then we'll turn it off.
Does this game actually let you turn it off in the game, unlike
Yes,
the Resident
unlike
Evil
the Resident
games
Evil
where you have to
games.
quit out to the main menu?
This game's engine is kind of designed to do some of this stuff. So
Hey,
this is without the full path tracing on, so you can kind of see like you lose a little bit of the sharpness of the reflection. Although like where it's reflected in this puddle still looks pretty damn good to me.
Still looks pretty good.
Yeah, and then if we turn
Unplayable.
yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
And then if we go in and turn it all,
I do
want
want to see the difference with no ray tracing.
Yeah.
Say goodbye to my little friend, Ray.
Exactly. You can kind of see how flat everything looks, right? Like there's still some reflections, but it's like more uniform. You don't get like the subtle differences. But like even like there's some stuff that this game does that looks pretty nice even without any of that fancy stuff.
I was gonna
going on.
say,
like the way
I feel
the
like,
papers,
that
there's like the
wouldn't-
reflection of the papers and the thing. Although for some reason the paper is being spontaneously generated up out of the floor. Like
That
there's-
doesn't happen to you?
Not so often. You know what? One of the awesome things that always happens in this game is that they don't, like these trash bags, they don't spawn the trash bags in until you get like a certain distance away from a dumpster. So a lot of times you walk up to a dumpster and just like 10 trash bags will fall out of the sky and then like roll around on the ground, which is always really
Hey, that's
fun.
a dark future, man.
Yeah. Yeah, that really
Trash
sucks.
raining everywhere.
But like the difference in the frame rate between the full path ray tracing and the regular or high setting ray tracing is huge.
The regular ray tracing I thought looked pretty good, and you can definitely see a difference.
For sure.
Yeah.
If nothing else, they make good shiny floors and good window panes. You know?
Yeah, I mean that's like I said, like Quake 2
So is that
and
stuff was the
Minecraft and Control are the games that show off ray tracing the best, and that's partially because Control has all of that.
There's also a Doom mod that does. I don't know how that would even look in a game.
Yeah,
that's
see, Deep
basically
doesn't
like
really
bitmap
have
graphics.
Yeah, I don't know if that would work.
It
that
looks
well.
neat. I watched a big long video on it, and it looks cool. It doesn't look natural, but I don't know how you could make Doom look natural.
I mean, does Quake look natural? I mean,
I don't. Does it look really washed out to you guys?
now it does. As soon as you clicked
yeah.
OK and saved those, yeah, it looks super
I
washed
wonder why
out.
that is. That's weird.
So speaking of technological leaps and bounds.
Oh, you know why? It's probably
Discord.
That's probably an HDR thing. Hang on a
Oh,
second.
probably. Discord has a soundboard now, and you can customize it on your different Discord servers.
Okay, great.
So everybody will be happy to know.
Game over! Game
Oh, there we
over!
go.
Game over! Game
Now we're
over!
talking.
Game over!
Now we're all set. Now,
The
now,
alarm
now
has returned.
the bill alarm, sound the bill alarm. We're all good to go. So
So before we got started, Eric and I were just kind of talking about the relevance of ray tracing, and I think I've seen a lot of people online just kind of going like, so maybe this whole thing is kind of barely not worth it, you know? Like
I mean,
you just
I like.
You want to
I
reboot
think-
the game and see if we can get the color back. But
Yeah,
please
I think it
continue.
really depends on the game, right? Like, it depends on like I think it looks cool enough in a lot of games. Although like RE4, like I kind of decided after like watching the Digital Foundry video on that and messing with the settings and stuff, like I decided to turn it off
Yeah.
because it wasn't really worth the that's the kind of game that I feel like I would rather play at 144 frames per second
Yeah, you want
rather
that
than have the
smooth.
ray tracing on.
Well, just spend $1,200 on a
Yeah.
graphics card and you're all set, bud.
Yeah. Well, if I hadn't just bought one like less than
Right.
8 months ago
Well, it's
or
like I
whatever,
was
then
talking, like Mike and I were talking before the stream.
I mean,
but-
I could play it at 1080 and probably have both,
Yeah.
but I like playing it at 2K.
And you could
instead.
you
Like,
could
yeah.
turn on DLSS. I don't know how good the DLSS is in that game, but
Yeah, I don't.
this still looks
haven't
kind of washed
really-
out to me. That's very
Not as bad as it
strange.
did before, though.
Yeah. Huh.
But yeah, I mean, I think it depends on the game, and I think it depends on if, like, I mean, when I first got this graphics card,
I mean, a lot of
there
it
were a bunch
is.
of games
It
where
depends on was the game created with
Right.
ray tracing in mind, or
or at least with an engine that does a good job with it, right?
Yeah.
Like Resident Evil 2 remake didn't have it originally, but it's been added because the engine supports it, and I
Yeah.
think it looks pretty good.
yeah,
you
that's
know.
all right. I mean, I got an HDR monitor recently, and I'm having some of that same stuff with that, where like sometimes that looks really great, and sometimes
Sometimes it's
in
way too dark.
In Resident Evil 2, everything I turn it on, everything is like super washed out and super dark and weird, and I don't really understand
Yeah.
why, but
For Resident Evil,
I didn't have that
4, I think
problem.
it looks great. For Resident Evil 2, I think it looks super dark when I have the HDR on.
I find that generally HDR does give you a lot of darker scenes. I do usually play in a very dark room, so I think that works okay for me. I played all of Resident Evil 2 on my TV in HDR, and it was actually the first game that I played where I really noticed the HDR. Like I remember being blown away when I first in the first early scene where the trucker where you're at the gas station, and like just in the dark night with the neon sign of the gas station was just like blinding in its clarity
Yeah.
compared to everything else on the screen. Like
Yeah, but then when you're trying to like navigate the game, it's like so dark that it's kind of hard to like see where you're going, which if you're playing on the default difficulty or like assisted mode, I guess is fine because it's atmospheric, but I was like getting frustrated because I was like I wouldn't see zombies because it was so dark that if my flashlight wasn't pointed at something, I wouldn't see it.
this game
Which I guess,
still
again-
has kids that all look like little tiny adults, which is fun.
God, I can't believe they didn't.
But yeah, like look at the this is with all that. I turned the DLSS stuff on, and it kind of does like in this game more than a lot of other games that I've messed around with DLSS. You really see the smeariness of it for some reason.
I'm not sure that would come through very clearly on a 1080p stream, but
No. But like the reflection on this wall is really nice. I was trying to find there was a place. There was like a back alley where there was a dude sitting in front of a window that had a reflection of the dude, and it was just a hellish nightmare. But I can't remember where that was. You can kind of see it a little bit in the reflection in this window, because like this is what this lady is supposed to look like, and or like this black man walking past is a very pale skinned white man in the reflection for some reason. But yeah, I don't know. I mean,
he sure is. Damn.
yeah. It's another one of those things where like ray tracing is a cool technology that probably in 5 years will make a big difference more in how people make games, and will like sort of give like a wider variety of developers access to better lighting models without putting as much time and effort into it as it takes currently. But like since
Yeah, I
nobody's
think
really
the
using
fact-
that to make the games yet, we're not noticing like big changes in the way things look. But
I think it's kind of telling that we're kind of just barely getting to a generation of graphics cards that can handle ray tracing
yeah,
kind of down the line, and it really means that they rushed.
happening with my shadow.
I think it really shows that they rushed the technology to market way before it was ready.
Yeah.
Like, And I have a 2060. That card can theoretically do ray tracing, but no, it's not going to get anywhere with basically any game.
You want to play your game in standard definition.
That's right, 480p, baby. Oh, I wonder if I could get like some Dreamcast ports and get some ray tracing on those.
Like my 2080 could do some pretty decent stuff with ray tracing. Like I played, especially once the DLSS stuff came out. Like I turned that on with control and put full ray tracing on and played at 1440p, and it was great. Like I got the experience that I wanted with that stuff. But
yeah, that's also not a game that relies on being high. Was it 60 frames or 30 frames?
I was getting more than 60. Yeah, I was getting better.
Really?
Than 60. Well, that's with DLSS turned on.
Oh,
you know. But I mean, like that's the problem with like this game is that it's like okay, the rays are traced, but like the art, I find that in a lot of places the art in this game really clashes in a way that kind of like mutes everything, and it's like doesn't matter how good the rays are if the art doesn't look that good, you know.
Yeah.
But I don't know. At some point,
So I feel like the thing that I haven't really heard anybody talk about really at any point about this game is like the game part.
Yeah, that's because
how
it's
is
not that
the
interesting.
game?
I don't.
Okay.
I still haven't, like, this is still pretty early on in the thing, and I really like. I just find it to be extremely mediocre.
So
which
not
is why,
Witcher 3, but in a different setting, basically.
No, it's just it's really. I mean, part of it is that like this is where I am now is I don't know, like 4 or 5 hours in, and I still only really spent a significant amount of time with one character, who's like your buddy. His name is Jackie, and you have like 3 different origins that you can pick from, and
have you started talking to the ghost of Johnny Silverhand in your head?
no,
or
I haven't
whatever
met I haven't met the Keanu Reeves character yet. Apparently that like it takes a while before you can get that far into the thing. Cop doesn't like it when I
What's the time to Keanu? That's what we need to know. That's
check out this cool
well over
shotgun
6 hours
in front of me already.
yeah, apparently. I guess what I like, this game piqued my interest because I'd heard so many good things about, you know, the Witcher games, even though I never really played any of them.
This is a fucking sick shotgun though.
That's pretty nice. You know, so like you know, it just kind of made me think of like you know, Cyberpunk was still like fairly in fashion in this sort of the 16-bit era, and there's like a decent number of kind of cyberpunk flavored.
That is quite a movie poster.
Yeah, a decent number of, you know, cyberpunk flavored games from that era, and you know, I guess what I kind of hoped for was something that was, you know, you know, Shadowrun or Snatcher or even like a Rise of the Dragon, you know, kind of in the modern era. And it seems like, I mean, again, nobody really seemed to talk about the gameplay or what actually goes on in the game very much. So
Listen, if I ever manage to make it more than 4 hours into the game, I will let you know. Okay.
I guess really what I wanted was like a kind of like a bigger, better, prettier Deus Ex Human Revolution, and it seems like it missed the mark on that.
I was hoping to find that place where that weird reflection was, but I might not. But we could start a new game
can
and you can see
you-
what it's like at the beginning if you want.
Can you
can
get
see, like, some of
cybernetic
the-
implants that will let you become a homicidal Kool-Aid man?
I don't know about that. Whoa! I just pulled that guy's head right off. Yeah, cool. I don't know about that, but oh, there's a drone. Wow, these cops are not that effective at.
No, apparently not.
I'm sorry. But yeah, you can do like if I forget what the button is. Whoops. Bye. There is a. See, I push up. That'll get my. If I push up, my car will show up magically.
Oh, your car named Roach?
Yes. There it comes. There it is. Hi, car. Let's go for a ride.
So how like open worldy is it versus how kind of linear, you know?
I mean, it's pretty, like, the city is pretty. Oh shit! I got my car stuck. Like, you can.
Oh no! It's like the
There's a
impossible couch
pretty-
in Dirk Gently.
There's a pretty good sized city for you to cruise around in. Like, here in the beginning, there are some there's some parts of it that are blocked off. Like, I don't even know if they say why, but like one of the major areas is just like the guy's like, oh, they're blocking off such and such section of the city. We got to get out of here, and then you get out of there. And you can't cross the bridge. That's like, you know, like at the beginning of Grand Theft Auto 3.
I was saying, isn't that exactly Grand Theft Auto 3?
Yeah,
It's very
literally.
similar to that,
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, I haven't really gotten to the part of the game. Like I did there's like an intro where you look at your character's backstory. You play and that's like an hour or two, and then you do like a mission where you kind of like learn some of the stealth mechanics and shit. Oh, hi. And then you, oh, I guess they killed me. And then you kind of finally get dumped out into the city, and that's the part that I've gotten to a few times, but have never actually managed to get much past. But it seems like at that point you can like wander around and talk to people and do quests and things. Like, I don't even really know what the thrust of the main story is just yet. But yeah, we'll mess around the character create a little bit. I don't know. Is there any of these intros that sound interesting to you guys? There's the
What are my choices
Nomad,
here?
where you start out as like a person that is in like the scrublands of California, and you're like naturally good with cars and things. There's the Street Kid, which is the character that I was just playing as, which means you were raised in like the scrubby ghetto parts of the city, and you're like known to some of the gangs and some of the people that run that part of the city. Or you can start as a corpo, and you're like an enforcer for a high level like CEO of one of the big technology corporations.
Go Corpo, man.
Yeah, go Corpo. Let's
Be the man.
Let's see how shitty that is.
Well, presumably you stopped doing that as part of the story.
Yeah.
I'm V.
I'm V.
So there's two voices.
I'm V.
The lady there's not a Russian lady.
No, there's only two. I wish there was some more voice options. Yeah, I wish it was full, like,
Saints Row the
yes, it would be way better if it was more like that. I have to be a little bit careful because, like, you can pick your characters. There's like 3 different penis sizes and a bunch of boob sizes and stuff, and they just
You
show
don't
that
wanna get
stuff
yourself
in this
banned
game,
off
and
Twitch?
yeah, we don't really need to get banned.
What is that expression?
I don't know. They're showing off your teeth because you
Showing
can
off the teeth.
You can put like a grill in there if you want.
Oh. Similar face, Eric.
Is there a similar?
Find the
face
similar
button?
face button and hit it
I
17
don't know if
times.
this one.
So I mean, I'm a little disappointed that
But
mean,
like,
I
it
know
doesn't
we were
have
just-
like the Elden Ring style, like make your dude whatever color or whatever shit. You
Right.
want. You know, I think there's some pretty good
And
cyberpunk hairstyles in here.
But it doesn't have the Saints Row the Third penis like bulge slider. You just have 3.
There's 3. You can have like a
sizes.
small-ish dick, or like a medium-sized dick, or like a big-ish dick.
Gee, I wonder which one of those is the most popular.
I don't know. He's like
It's the
Star
Schlemidia, Mike.
Wars hair. I don't know. We'll do this really high, like 80s hairband hair. And we'll make it blue. Let's make it
Ooh.
blue.
I like that hairstyle.
Yeah, it's good. Eyes, eye colors. There's some good like cyberpunk eyes. You can have like the eyes of the contacts of the dude from Last Action Hero. It's like
Nice.
spirals and
The happy face
yeah.
doesn't.
I don't know. There's no happy face, but there's like
There's no happy
like
face.
hearts and like a target and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Uh,
Now I feel like you should be making a character who looks like Charles Dance from Last Action Hero.
it's not. It isn't. Like I said, it's not. It doesn't. It only has like. It has like nose styles and stuff, but there's no sliders, unfortunately. Which means you can't have the same kind of fun that you can have in an Elden Ring or a better game.
Yeah, I mean, Elden Ring also, I was going to say this when you were talking about the city being
Can have some
walled off or whatever.
cyberware.
Like Elden Ring has, like, you got to the point where I opened that chest and a mist transported me to a spot on the map that I didn't know existed. But I feel like
There's
in
your teeth.
general,
Gold teeth, pink teeth,
nice.
Pink
Peachy
teeth.
pink teeth.
Can you have teeth on your teeth?
No, I don't think so.
Yo, dog, I heard you like teeth, so. But I thought like we kind of had all reached the conclusion that like sandbox games didn't need to just like arbitrarily wall off parts of the world. I don't really know why they're still doing that. That seems like a thing that.
I think it's just to make you like hang out in the early area of the game, so they can like tug you along. I'm sure there's a story reason why. Ah, boobs. Oh shit. Nope. Ah.
What are you talking about? Those were
Where did my
you were
shirt go?
holding. I can't think of a good excuse. Sorry.
Isn't there like a way to put on a shirt? You can turn. Oh, here. I'll just turn the nipples off, and then it's probably fine.
There you
Yeah, that seems like it's fine.
Genitals off, penis size. Oh, pubic hair style. You can pick some different pubic hairs if you want.
Hmm.
I got some. I don't know. What do we want to be, like a hacker person? Some cool intelligence.
Hackers are cool.
All right, we'll hack and. be
If
cool.
I'm cyberpunking, I definitely want to be hacking.
Yeah,
ABH.
I think you definitely want to be hacking in this game. That seems like the
Yeah,
most fun way to play.
always be hacking.
I do like a nipple toggle in a video game. I don't. It's hard for me to think of many other games that have a nipple toggle, but
Super
Or
Mario
a
Odyssey.
genitals toggle. I mean,
I think you can't. It's not that you turn genitals off. It's just whether or not the game shows them.
Oh, so it changes the camera angles, or
No,
does
no,
it
you just
artfully
you,
place like a
yeah.
candlestick in front
I
of your
wish.
character?
Yeah, I wish it did the Austin Powers.
Austin Powers, yeah, right.
It's just like somebody's holding up a watermelon or something. No, I think it's just you're always wearing underwear. Whereas if you turn the genitals on, then you make your character get naked.
So there's not a labia sized setting, only
No,
penis
there's
sized?
there's no vagina options aside from the pubic hair options, but those are for
Yeah.
whichever genitalia you choose. But I do like that you can mix and match how you want.
Needed a breather.
Sure, yeah. Nothing like
Like you
starting a
could
game
in
with
Saints
puke,
Row.
by the way.
Well, that's only if you play as the corpo.
It's just stress.
Okay, fair enough.
But
I mean, in
this
that
this
case,
guy
you
in the
learned it.
upper left or in the upper right is Jackie Wells. He's your buddy, and like if you pick the street kid one, you kind of grew up with him in your neighborhood. And if you pick the
Not
one
dead yet.
where you are the from the
The nomad,
well, I was gonna say if you're the guy from the if he plays one of the guys from
the Road Warrior.
not the Road Warrior, but the California Love music video,
Uh-huh.
which is inspired by the
We
Road
had,
Warrior, but is more appropriate
boss
for
called,
this.
dragged me in.
Are you saying the Road Warrior or the World Warrior? Because those are different
I'm
things.
saying the California Love music video, which is
All right.
heavily
right.
influenced by
By the
Mel
Road
Gibson
Warrior.
Jackie,
Yes.
if you work in Arasaka counter and
But if you pick, so what relation is he to you if you choose that
music. So
one?
if you pick that one, he's just like he's your handler
about
for a
me.
mission.
I'll manage them.
Okay.
And the mission is to steal an iguana. Just fun. Like you steal this box and you don't know what's in it, and then when you open the trunk, they're like, "Do you want to look inside?" And you open it up, and this iguana just like crawls out in your arm. Like, "Oh shit! I thought these things were extinct." Which is, hey, you remember Blade Runner? It's like Blade Runner.
Yep.
What is that? That movie?
It's a book.
Is it an adventure game by
Why are there
Westwood
all these
Studios?
people smoking in this one stall? That seems weird. There's a lot of stuff like that in this. There's a lot of stuff like that in this game. Although, look at this tree. What if you had a tree that was like glowy and red? That'd be cool, right?
That's cool.
Yeah, sure.
But it's just like kind of like being in the Witcher cities. There's all these people around, but you can't interact with them at all. Which
That's weird. Who made The Witcher again?
the same
they ever-
same company, but it's part of the reason why
I know,
most
it's
people play. A lot of people play The Witcher up until you get to the point where you go to Novigrad, and then they drop
And then
off
stop.
because the Witcher is a lot less interesting when you're in a city full of like weird
Got held up, but I'll
corpses.
be right there.
But what if they go pam 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 param?
I mean,
Some of those, there's like a random. I took like a video of it back in the day, and I still have it on my phone probably. But like, there's just like a dude dancing on a corner next to a bunch of people playing music, and he's doing this fucking weird dance animation, and I'm like, what is going on here? And you can't interact with anybody.
oh,
There's
nice
nothing.
lips. Oh,
Yeah.
hi.
Oh, thank you. Anyway, what's
We
up,
always
guys?
say that about Alex.
Yeah. Every
Hello.
time he speaks, you can. His lips have they lend a lot of really good acoustics to his voice,
Yeah.
and so you can even
That's
if you've
right.
never seen
That's
him,
right.
you can tell that he has good lips.
Hey, V.
That's what they're for.
It's been ages.
Hi,
It's me, Frank.
hi,
I
Frank.
met during Icefall.
Ooh, Icefall. I remember you. How have you been? They do a nice job with the skip button,
Jenkins.
where they like fast forward. They leave the animations in and just like fast forward them. I think is pretty good. What are
Like
people
they
saying
blend
about Jenkins?
seamlessly. And...
Yeah, and they do a nice job of not
He's in a tough spot.
of keeping you from accidentally skipping more than one line at a time, which seems like a minor thing, but is a real problem in
No,
some
that's good.
games. Yeah.
I've been having that problem with Great Ace Attorney, where when it's time to present something, if you're skipping through the text, you'll accidentally just choose the first
Oh.
option.
Yeah, and then you have to skip through all the text
It was
again.
me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A fate worse than death.
Emergency protocols active.
I don't feel like all this red light would be really stressful on your.
Yeah, I wouldn't. Yeah, it's not very. But it looks fucking cool.
Red light is easier on the eyes than blue light. Lower
They're
intensity.
developing film all over the place in this world,
Yeah.
constantly. There's digital. A lot of things went digital, but cameras weren't one, so they're still developing actual film.
Visitor authorization granted.
Are you online? Have a seat, V. Be right with you.
So, speaking of weird first-person games, Mike, I hear you're playing Resident Evil Village for the first time.
I am,
Is that
stranger.
weird? Is that a weird game?
It's pretty weird.
It's a
I mean,
so far it's a lot of different games.
Just as we thought.
I mean, it sold like a bajillion copies. That's what I mean. Like, it's not like I understand that like weird shit happens in it.
Yeah, I guess I've been wanting to play this one for a while, and because I'm aware of a lot of different things about it, and all the stuff that I was aware of was mostly kind of goofy and weird. But the game itself was not quite that when I started it up. I mean, it does
no,
start
it
with
takes
the dinner.
itself way too seriously.
Oh no, but the dinner
No, it
scene
doesn't.
is so ridiculous at the start that is goofy, right?
As we
I mean, in my opinion, the scene at the beginning with you know, what's her name, Mia and your kid, that's so over the top and silly that like I'm into that.
I really
right?
enjoy that scene. Like the way that you can try and be sneaky and take the baby upstairs and put it to bed, but there's all these things for you to interact with. And Ethan keeps going like, "Oh no, I need to be quiet." And then you like wind up the music box or turn the TV on or. Oh,
But then like they dump you in the village and then, like it's an extremely serious section, kind of, you know, where you have to do it's kind of the Resident Evil 4 village survival scene again, but in first person, which I found
Exactly that.
way
100%
disorienting
that.
to be in first person doing that. I was just like, oh god, how do I get away from these guys?
There's a third person mode now, isn't there?
There is.
I don't know. I'm not
You
gonna
have to
play the
buy the
game in a weird
DLC.
way. I'm not gonna
Oh,
play the game
okay.
for the first time in a weird way that no one else played it.
I've
This is
been
Metal
picking
Gear
away
Solid
at it
3.
on my Steam Deck that way, and I'll tell you, it's a totally good way to play that game. Seems like.
Well, sure, but it's not the canonical way, and I want to have the normal experience first.
effective.
Anyway, so I was just very confused and couldn't tell if I was fucking everything up, and I kept getting chomped on by these guys, and And when that scene ends, it's just very weird. I find where all these like wolf dudes show up all with like medieval armor and weapons and things, and they're all
Hammer
just kind of standing
Santa
around
is
you.
there.
Hammer Santa is there,
Hammer
and then they
Santa's
all go
great.
to bingo or something.
Mm-hmm.
Where's everybody going?
So like that part was
Bingo.
disorienting, and then ended
This guy's
kind
got-
of weird and goofy.
Weird, like cum stain
Take
all
this.
over his jacket. Anyway,
Is that the
sorry.
elusive man?
Could be.
Could be.
He's
Does
had
he
hard
sound
times.
like Martin Sheen? That was Martin
Shepherd.
Sheen, right? Martin
Yeah.
Sheen
It
was
was
the
Martin
elusive man.
Sheen for sure.
Anyway, sorry, Mike. You keep going.
That's fine. And then you go into like the kind of house section where you go into Luis's house, and then there's a whole bunch of people around it. That for me is really weird in a Resident Evil game. To me, I
Yeah,
don't
well,
really
Yeah,
like
they're
they're-
not around
they
for very
fucking
long.
immediately-
Not for very
yeah.
long.
I
yeah.
know. And then like the way that all goes down, and then whatever the name of that woman who's trying to help you, and she's all like falling into the burning building while her dad's eating everyone, and it's just like, all right, it's just not quite what I was expecting. I don't know. And then so today I picked it up again, and I got into Lady Dimitrescu's castle, and this was what I was expecting. It's like, oh, okay, yeah. I'm running around a castle. There's weird crests, and I found a bottle of wine.
When you get captured and then they drag you into that stupid torture chamber with all the
running
werewolves
man.
watching, yeah, and then you have to dodge that big spiky roller, and
Except that it just does it for you. I didn't
it's
I didn't even dodge it. I was like, oops, I either messed this up or else it's
Yeah.
going to be a cutscene. And then I was like, I'll use my chains to stop this gigantic thing from.
I think
killing
it
me.
on the higher difficulties. I think it can kill you. Because
Well, if I'd run
did
forward,
kill
it
me
might have killed
once.
me.
Yeah, I think I did accidentally get killed by it once.
I've-
But
you have to get into the low spot.
I have my
I think,
AV
but-
waiting.
yeah, you have to go and like, crouch in the little nook. Otherwise, it definitely kills you.
Okay, well, maybe I just totally did that by accident and just got really lucky. I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. All that stuff. It's just kind of weird and goofy and just ping pongs around between a lot of different vibes in a pretty short amount of time.
There's
but that's-
there's a lot of tonal whiplash in that game. I found there's some shit
Yeah.
that's extremely goofy, and then there's some shit that I am still convinced that they want you to take seriously. And I was just like, my God, this is so.
Would you
And
say
I
that
heard
the
about-
vibes are off?
They can be. There are moments
Okay.
where the vibes
For
are
the
off.
most
but
part, I thought that game had a kind of knew what was going on and it was goofy
Couldn't
on
have said it
purpose
better.
pretty much the whole way through.
But it also has like the scariest
all I can trust
sequence
for
in
now.
the entire series, probably. So like,
It's not as I don't know. That is.
I
that's
guess running
pretty
away
good.
from Jack, running away from
the
Jack.
first,
the
like the
time
first 2
in
hours
7.
of 7, I think is still the high. high
Yeah.
point
So
of that.
as a noted person who does not want to play 7 because it looks too scary, by the time 7 ends, is it basically like what 8 is at the beginning,
kind of
where you're kind of heavily armed and you're just kind of cruising around?
There's a whole like puzzle box Running Man, goofy thing at the end of that game as
There's-
well, or the
That's
It's
one
not
of my
at the
favorite
end,
parts
but-
of 7.
it's good, yeah.
Is the Saw homage.
And then there's a
basically.
bug lady that chases you around, and that game gets progressively less scary the further into it you get.
Yeah. Yeah.
At this point, like I was like Mike, and I was like, that looks like it might actually be scary, so I don't want to play it. But I've seen a lot of streamers play it, so I'm like, I feel like I've gotten kind of everything I'm gonna like
Yeah.
get out of it.
Yeah, I
7, you
saw.
mean?
7, yeah.
Yeah, and I saw
8,
a
I've
bunch
only
of people.
seen a little bit of people play it, but anyway, some of which was like you, Joe, or
Right,
Eric,
yeah.
or somebody, yeah.
I saw a bunch of people streaming 8. I mostly saw Barb streaming 8, and that's one of the things that made me want to play it. It was like, all right, this looks dumb and goofy and fun. And now that I'm into it, I think it is. Like I was pretty keen on the last hour or so that I played. I fought the first of the Vampire Sisters, and I got a bottle of wine. So you know we're
I'm
cruising,
drunk
man.
now.
Yeah.
Operation
Yeah.
Wormy Apple.
You can
That's
set the
good.
bottle of wine on a thing, and it will
I'm- I
unlock a
mean,
thing.
That whole
Spoilers,
whole
Joe.
game
Crazy.
is you trying to find the little jars that the 4 pieces of your baby have been split
I
up and
know.
pickled in. So
That's why I want to play it. This is so dumb. And I'd heard about like all the hand torture, but I didn't even realize how much of it
Yeah.
there was.
There's
It was like-
so much, dude.
Yes.
that's all right.
What's like
It's
the
been-
opposite of a hand fetish?
It's been like 4 or 5 times in 2 hours.
Yeah.
You just
And
gotta
it gets
pour-
worse.
you
Like,
just
he
gotta
gets more
pour
of
the
it.
magic juice on it, and you're fine.
Yep.
Because
right.
I mean, so
Just
far he's
open
lost.
a bottle and
He had fingers bitten off. I want to say he got his hand cut by one of the vampire ladies. He got strung up by his hands and had to slash them in half to kind of
Well, yeah,
get out of
Vampire
that.
Mommy like licks some blood out of his, or sucks some blood out of his
Yeah,
hand.
because the daughter
and
cuts
then
his
they-
hand or
yeah,
something, or
yeah.
no, she cuts his hand. One of them does.
Yeah, and then they like crucify him on the hooks and chains, basically, and then he has
And
to
he's just
he
like,
rips
"Well,
his
shit."
hand. Yeah, it's
Guess I'm just gonna tear my hands apart.
rip my hands apart. to
Well,
get
when
away
you're
from
an
this.
immortal milled man, none of that matters.
Yeah, but he doesn't know. He doesn't even know that he's an immortal mold man until later. He gets told. He thinks he survived Resident Evil 7.
I mean, he did kind of.
Oh, does being a mold man mean that he died?
I mean, it means that he's like a mold man. He's like Jack or any of the other people, kind of.
Right.
And
but
his
not,
wife was
it
too,
wasn't,
right?
He's not like possessed by.
Yes, he still
Evie.
has his free will, but he has like a lot of the same kind of like immortality stuff that those characters had.
Yeah, it's not. It's actually not super clear why he didn't just like
Right, get taken.
become a
over by
slave
Eve.
to to her, but whatever. It's not important, I guess. Really,
It really doesn't matter. Don't worry about it. It's fine.
Anyway, we'll see how it goes. But
Yeah, I like
get
that
into it.
game. I mean,
It's
all
just-
the recent
there's
ones have been very good. so-
Four very different areas. That there's like the village and the castle and the haunted house and the fucking factory, man.
Well, there's
The
five.
metal
There's five if you
tornado
count the
tank
village.
boss fight is really.
Oh, that's right. I got grabbed by Magneto.
yeah.
Yeah,
Forgot
mold
about that part.
Nito is.
Mac fucking Nito.
Yeah,
It's Marvel, baby? No one? Alright, okay.
yeah.
Pop
Fuck
Pop.
the Knicks.
Fuck the Knicks, thank you. Okay. Please continue.
Scoops Haagen-Dazs, etc., etc. Curly, where your curly mustache at? And so
You
on
have
and so
to,
forth.
now you're not, you're just phoning it in. Just shut the fuck up.
What was the Pringles one?
That's the where your curly mustache at?
Yeah, where you,
'Cause once you pop, you
he's
can't
so
stop.
Pringles. Yeah.
So Pringles.
Yeah. Where your curly mustache?
My life coach
Anyway.
just noticed that I had some strange, some troublesome biometric readings, and was just calling to check in on me and remind me to do my motor neuron relaxation exercises.
That's a good advice,
Yeah.
actually.
That's good advice.
You guys want to buy some
Yeah.
real water for $99 a gallon?
What else do you drink exactly?
I was
don't
gonna say,
know.
what's the alternative?
In what world is there a
Fake
synthetic
water.
water that is
Yeah.
somehow less expensive to produce than real water?
Yeah.
The most
Um,
abundant substance on Earth.
Find a spot close to the bar.
So basically, the guy that was in the office there, he's like
Scumbag.
well, he's like a lower level dude at that corporation.
Lower
he's
level scumbag.
trying to pay me to like kill
Scumbag
the
Junior.
COO or the CEO of the company so he can take her job.
See, that's very specific. The COO he wants to be in charge of operations, I guess.
Yeah. So Mike, apparently you can play as Vampire Mommy and Mold Nito in the Mercenaries now, and I actually still haven't gone back and unlocked them to see how they play. But
Interesting. Well, maybe we'll get there eventually. I've never been like a big Mercenaries guy, but
Nice pants.
we say we ain't looking for no beef witcheroo.
Witchu.
What you?
Oh, witcheroo. Okay.
Witchu.
I thought that was some sort of weird sweet slang where you could be a witcheroo.
I do like that this game.
Why does that guy's shirt say bitch?
It's like the future's fucked up, man.
I do like that this game, if you pick this intro, has this thing where you can pick this basketball up and throw it, because then it feels like System Shock 2 or Deus Ex or like
Nice.
a wide range of other games.
Say,
similar to this.
Half-Life 2.
Yeah, where you can try
Gravity
and
gunning the
shoot a
basketball.
basketball into a hoop.
Keep an eye on the AV for me.
But yeah, Mike, keep me posted because I'm curious to see. You're very selective when it comes to your Resident Evil.
I'm not that selective. I mean, I liked one remake a lot. I liked both versions of 2. I just never got around to 3. 4 I don't like much.
That's
but then you-
crazy that you just said that out loud.
Right?
I don't know,
fine.
man. It's a thing, and I don't like the thing that it is very much. It's okay.
Yeah, but that's like what the like 4 is like one of those video games. Like yeah, I feel didn't Kurt recently say? No, Kurt
Yes.
said he hadn't played
He
it.
hadn't played
That's
it.
what was.
Played it,
That's
yeah.
it. Like that's crazy to me. 4 is a game where it's like everyone plays it and everyone's like, oh yeah, dude, that game fucking kicks ass. And it's like, yeah,
It's alright. It's
like
way. I mean, it's way too long, and a lot of it does.
It's
drag.
extremely long. It's extremely brown.
it's like 15 to 20
I mean,
hours. That's not too
Every
bad.
video game was brown. in
It's
that
it's over.
Yeah, that's
5
also
hours.
true.
I'm actually kind of interested in playing the remake because I think the gameplay looks just a bit more fluid.
It's way
and the-
more
and-
fun.
and the
It's
game looks less
also
brown.
more streamlined.
One moment, if you
considerably more
please.
streamlined.
Resident Evil 4, last played August 23rd, 2014, 17.2 hours. Now,
Right.
granted, that was a replay.
Yeah,
but,
if you've
you know,
Yeah.
played it several
It
times
was like
before.
25 the first time.
Right.
It's a long ass game.
I think what did I think I said 20 something hours. I don't know. Whatever.
You said
I wasn't too far
15.
off.
Okay, but most
Okay.
Resident Evil
Well,
games
I'm
are
not
like
too
8.
far off.
Yes, it's
That's true,
considerably longer
that's
than most other Resident Evil games. Yes.
That's
Anyway,
fair.
5 was super fun, but of course problematic in many ways.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
I'm
we
smart enough
talked
to have
about
not played
that.
6. So
Oh man, you missed
Don't
out.
hold that
6 is
against me.
great.
Right.
6
well,
is the
but
funniest video game of all time.
yeah, right.
It's not
But
even
Mike,
fun,
that-
Dad. It's just boring.
There's a but
Yeah,
that
it's mostly boring. I got a lot of fun out of it, but it was tough.
then there's 7, 2 well you like 2.
Well, 7 I'm
3
afraid of.
remake, right? 3 remake and 8, which you're now getting around to. And there's 0 and there's Code Veronica.
Oh, 0 I've played and it
and-
sucks.
Yep, that's true.
Code
Zero
Veronica I
sucks.
played and it was okay.
It's tough, man. Code Veronica is tough.
It is tough. That's the one I had to restart halfway through because I got to the plane fight and I just couldn't hack it.
Yep.
Didn't
Yep.
have enough stuff.
I mean,
That's-
other than that, it's just like generally not that good.
The
Unfortunately.
front half, Rockford Island is not a great location. Once you get to the mansion, it's better, but then it's also like it's just another mansion, like the first game.
Good to
So
see you too, Jack.
You go to Antarctica eventually.
that's true. Well, yeah,
And it's just another science lab.
and then it's
Yeah.
just another science lab. So
So I don't know. I got like a 60% hit rate on the Resident Evil games that I've played.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
some of them are really good.
yeah,
And I always appreciate just the weird sensibility those games have. They live in their own universe,
Before
man.
I start.
that's
Things
for
are
sure.
different in RE land.
So could I.
Go get me the Sparrow crest to put inside the
Mhm.
octagon hat or something.
I really love the way the keys in Resident Evil 7
Data
work,
shard.
especially the shadow puppet keys where you have
Yeah,
to like
the
turn the
yeah.
things to line up. I think wasn't there one of those in 4?
There's the remake before,
not,
isn't there? Like-
Not exactly, but there's a
There's
thing where
something
you
similar,
put a
right?
ball, you put the
Yeah,
like
that's
a,
right,
a big
yeah.
marble in a door, and you have to rotate it until it lines up.
There's that colored light.
Similar to
puzzle
the,
as well.
and there's the colored light puzzle. That was in the original version
That was
before.
A runner with a gold-plated brain.
This guy you're talking to has a real important character kind of vibe
He's
about him.
Jackie. He's the only NP. He's the only like character in the whole game that I've had any time with in the 3 or 4 hours that I've played so far.
Delicate situation, I know. That's why I need somebody I can trust.
This ain't no delicate situation,
But
You know
um,
how
I don't know.
it isn't a professional request I can refute.
I also
don't-
love that. I mean, I appreciate that a lot of this stuff, like I really liked the Blade Runner 2049, like stuck to being the future of Blade Runner, and not like trying to make it make sense with how the future has actually gone. And I feel like this game has like a level of that too, right? Like everyone smokes, which like
Yeah.
at this rate, by 2049, like 4 people in the world will still be smoking, right?
You're
Like,
saying this
No,
game
there's
is the
still a lot of
future
people
of
that's-
1983, not the future of 2023.
that's pretty much what I'm saying. Or that's my read on it from the
Or everything is in such a bad condition and you're gonna get lung cancer just for breathing. You may as well smoke. possible,
you may as
right?
well get the
Right.
benefit of smoking, of the relaxing your nerves or whatever they say about all of that shit. The buzz you get from the nicotine, if you're gonna die from just breathing the air, anyways.
Well, let him. They'll also take the fist they got gripping your balls. I don't know about you.
Maybe someday.
But
But for now,
You'll always be within reach.
this is like a lot of like, because of the way that they
You lost?
procedurally generate the clothes for a lot of characters, just like people wear stuff that clashes and looks bad.
Saying they have no fashion sense.
I mean, that's kind of like
you're from
cyberpunk
Arasaka. Is there a
I
problem?
guess.
We hear about
fashion,
Frank-
anyways.
That's all
right?
the-
That's true to my life.
Yeah.
I was gonna say
Like-
people wear dumb clothes in real life. Like
Yeah, but everybody's wearing dumb clothes in this game.
it's the future.
It's the Back to the Future 2 version of Cyberpunk, you know?
Didn't quite catch.
How you feeling?
Right.
Your access to
Or the Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey.
give us the data you received
For
from Jenkins.
Cyberpunk.
I would say not enough hot pink.
There's a
what I'm
lot of,
seeing
look
on
at,
the screen.
look underneath this table is all hot pink.
That's not hot pink. That's like neon lighting. That's
Is that different?
Is there bisexual lighting in this game? I'm not watching the stream at the moment.
Yes, there's a shitload of bisexual lighting in this game.
Does that mean
It's almost
like
exclusively
pink and
bisexual
blue?
lighting.
Yeah.
It's
In the
pink and
game,
blue.
Is that- I've never
future's
heard
pretty
that
cool,
term
man.
before, but sure.
aren't those the gamer colors? I always think of that as being like the flag of Gamertopia whenever I see those.
I mean, isn't it the trans flag colors, isn't it?
Well,
Yeah,
now you've made
well,
some
it is.
Gamers very angry, Mike.
Just for the record, bisexual lighting is like a thing where people meme about like if something is purple and blue. That's all. That's all it is. Turns out people on the internet make dumb jokes. Did you know?
I don't know. Yeah, I never
No,
heard that
I did
before,
not
but
know
sure.
that until
Makes-
just now.
That makes sense to me.
Really?
Fuck.
I never
people
heard
on the
of this
internet make
internet
dumb
thing.
jokes.
I do think it's funny though. This is a concept of bisexual lighting. Oh, this motherfucker just taunted me. You
Withdrawal
Are you playing Street Fighter 6 now?
sort of.
no, third strike. 6 isn't out, dog. I would.
Oh, I thought there was a beta again. I thought there was another
no.
beta or something.
They're tomorrow. Tomorrow they're doing Lil Wayne. Weirdly, is hosting a showcase on 420 about fucking
Yeah.
Street Fighter 6.
Is he one of the commentators or whatever?
He is
right?
not.
Okay.
There's
'Cause, like,
that one wrestler. And
Yeah,
there's,
Zelina Vega, right? She's
I think
one of
that's the
them?
only like because there's a bunch of Japanese commentators and then there's some
I love
English
this.
people.
I love this intro.
But,
Is really dumb. Where they just like
Ow, fuck.
skip all the character development between you and Jackie, and they just like show you shaking hands with a bunch of people. This is also this music is a great example of why I don't like the music in this game very much. I turned up the volume. It's just they they should have just whoever compiled all the music for Hotline Miami should have just been passed to
Container.
right.
Just
Yeah,
to hear it make
as
us
artists.
mixtapes for
Yes.
a year.
Yeah.
There's been a bunch of
There's
synth
so
wave,
much good
dark wave
synth music out there
stuff.
these days that they could have borrowed from, and they whiffed really hard with the music in this game. I feel like.
It's pretty impressive as intros go, I gotta say. Like the fast cuts between all the different
Yeah.
scenes.
It's just like this is why you're buddies with Jackie. Now you've been kicked out of the corporation, and you're trying to get your life back.
I watched the Cyberpunk anime and I thought it was really good.
Yeah,
I heard it was
heard that
really
about
good,
it.
actually.
Yeah.
that is kind of what started the Cyberpunk revival. I feel like.
No, yeah, it absolutely
Like
is.
the
yeah.
game sold several million more copies after that.
Somewhere in this
Yep.
building.
That's why they had Trigger do it.
The knuckle of
'cause-
the kidnapper.
yeah,
Eyes and
they're like,
ears
cool.
Oh right, they
Yeah,
got
people-
Trigger.
Yeah,
Speaking of which,
it looks great.
Got you a
It's,
little something.
Trigger made it because you know.
take training
Speaking of
shot.
watching things,
In case you need to,
I watched
Yeah,
that
I'm almost
Tetris
done with
movie.
Gurren Lagann. What'd you say?
I heard that movie was fucking dog shit.
It's fine. It's another. It's there's a I mean it's there's a scene at the end of the movie where I don't need to do
Not
this
now,
tutorial.
Jack. No time.
Taron Egerton?
Maybe later.
There's a scene at the
Yeah,
end of the
sure,
movie where
sure.
the where what's the name of the guy that made Tetris?
Alexei Pajitnov.
Yeah, where he is driving Howard Lincoln and the salesman and another guy from Nintendo. Like they're in a little tiny like Russian car running away from the KGB guy that was trying to force them to sell to that other company. And it's really funny and stupid. And I feel like the whole movie has this really weird like repetition thing going on, which I think was intentional, where they say handheld rights like 5 million times and never come up with a synonym or another way to phrase that. And it's not like a great movie, but it could have been a lot worse.
Well, okay then.
Yeah. Listen, I'm not
You're
saying
really selling me on
I'm
that.
saying you should watch it, but I don't regret having seen it.
Who plays Howard Lincoln? Anyone
I
famous
don't
person?
know offhand. You'd have to
Howard Lincoln.
look it up.
Howard Lincoln plays himself.
It's a portrayal of Howard Lincoln that, based on his appearances in the Nintendo Power comic books and things, that I think he would have greatly enjoyed.
He's a nice guy with a funny hat.
But a funny bow tie. But that's not
A bow
Howard
tie,
Lincoln.
right?
That's Howard Phillips. That's different Howard.
You want nice, supportive? Call a damn helpline.
But speaking of movies that you should see, though, I had the chance on Friday to go see Nicolas Cage in Vampire's Kiss in 35 millimeter.
Okay, I thought you were going to say that.
I thought you were gonna say
movie,
Renfield.
which
Yeah, I was gonna say that to
nobody
get you
likes,
psyched for his other vampire movie.
That is to get me psyched. Yeah, it was to get me psyched.
Nobody likes that movie, Joe. I'm sorry to say.
What, Vampire's Kiss?
No, Renfield.
The Renfield one.
Do people not like that? I thought people were excited about that.
People are not too happy.
They were excited about it until they saw it, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't give a shit, so that's no loss for me.
It's too bad.
Wow.
Apparently, Nicolas Cage's vampire, his Dracula is pretty fun.
I mean,
Listen,
yeah, I think that's the whole
here's
selling
how
point
we
of the
hack.
movie.
So you can bring up this little matrixy screen, and then if you have the skills to do it, you can just do it. Otherwise,
as long
there's
as I
like a
don't have to
little
play
mini
Pipe
game you can
Dream on
play.
the NES, like.
There's like they give you like a number sequence that you have to like input in a certain order within a time frame. It's not the best hacking game that I've seen, but
Can you smear Omni Gel on things?
I wish, man. More games should have Omni Gel.
It's the only gel you need.
It's Omni. This actually, when the little hostile area thing popped up, I think that made me realize that what I actually want is like IO Interactive to make one of these.
This one's packing black market Tech repros.
Which actually, I need to spend more time with the roguelike, the Hitman
World of
roguelike.
Assassination.
Yes, the World of Assassination.
This is like a low rent chop shop.
In that they splice you.
Yeah, where they like kidnap people and then like rip their tech out of their bodies. And so
Oh,
that's
they
what this.
unsplice you.
Yeah, like this mission is to save a like a rich woman who's been kidnapped, and one of the things I do like about this game is that they have this like the health insurance that you can buy is like the trauma team or something.
Yeah.
And then they can like they like you because of all the tech in your head, they like know if you've been injured or whatever, and so they just show up, and that depending on how expensive your oh shit, I got saw.
That's like an in-universe thing. It's in
Yeah,
the...
yeah, it's in
yeah,
the game,
yeah.
It's good.
It's good in the TV show because like there's like a time where they're trying to get information out of somebody and they're like, fuck, he's got insurance, and then like they're like, shit, dude, and trauma team shows up and they're like the fucking SWAT team, and like they just fucking start like, yeah, it turns into like a whole thing. Yeah, the anime's really good, honestly.
That sounds like some Snow Crash shit for sure.
Yeah, it is. It's
That sounds extremely Snow Crash.
Yeah. No, there's a time too where they're like, oh, thank God, trauma team is here, and then like because there's like multiple people bleeding out to death, and then like they only come for the person who has the insurance, and they leave all the other people to die.
Yep.
Like, yeah, and it's like, yep, that's fucking. Yeah.
How many episodes? It's on
Corporate
it's on
dystopia.
It's on
It's only like
Netflix,
8
10
or something,
episodes,
right?
pretty good.
And
Highly
30
recommended.
30-minute episodes, I assume.
I don't know. Yeah, it's anime. Something like that.
25 minutes. If it's
Nice.
anime.
Yeah, I should watch that. I should watch that.
Yeah, once I sign back up for Netflix, it's on my.
Yeah.
Did you guys hear Netflix is sending their final DVD next month?
No.
Their final disc.
Is it The Matrix?
I mean, that would be
Single
appropriate,
person's
right?
protected by Echelon 2 corpo immunity. Our girl's top shelf.
Yeah, I kind of thought they already had stopped doing that.
I was gonna
but
say
then
I had no idea they still did that.
I guess I had heard from people that like, oh yeah, like my grandparents or whatever like still get DVDs from them. So it's like, oh, okay, well I guess that does make sense. But yeah, they're getting out of the DVD shipping business apparently.
More bodies incoming. They're almost on you.
This is like a separate thing a little bit, but I saw an interview with God, what's his name? The redheaded
Cage.
guy. It's Dominic something. The guy who was like
Dom Toretto?
Toretto? Yeah.
Yeah. He said something about family. No, it's he was in the Star Wars, like the new Star Wars movies. It's like the sniveling like Imperial guy.
Dom Hall Gleason, is that?
Yeah. And so they were interviewing him, and they were like, "Oh, you know, like you didn't really get a lot of scenes in this movie, huh?" And he's like, "Nah, like not really. It wasn't really a big focus of the thing." And he's like, and the interviewer's like, "Oh, well, like you probably got like some cut stuff, right? Like you're probably like in the DVD extras." And he's like, "Yeah, man, that's like what it's all about these days. All the kids love their DVD extras. They're all watching movies on their DVDs." And it's like, yeah, like, yeah, dude. Like,
Thanks,
by the way,
Grandma.
that movie fucking sucked. The most recent Star Wars movie, but
Pretty bad, yeah.
pretty fucking bad. It's like legit one of the worst movies I've ever seen.
It
I
is the
think.
worst
Like,
Star
one of the
Wars movie,
big-
and that's saying
No,
something.
I disagree
I don't-
with
it's
that.
not the
I
worst
disagree.
with
I
that. It's not the
disagree with
worst Star
that.
Wars movie.
But it is actually, you know what? I actually don't know if I disagree with that. It might be like equal.
Attack of the Clones is the worst Star Wars movie, and it's not.
I don't know, man. Like Ryan Skywalker, I'll never forget being in the theaters and they're like, Chewbacca is dead, and then the camera just pans over to
He's
the left,
fine.
and they're like,
Yeah.
he's fine. I almost spit out a drink in front, like the row in front of me, and like I was laughing hysterically, and like everyone around me was just like looking at me, and I'm like, sorry, but like, come on, also. Like,
I
I mean,
laughed.
it's
I
the
laughed.
it's the Final
Yeah.
Fantasy IV of Star Wars movies. Everybody gets to make a noble sacrifice and then survive
Right.
anyways.
yeah,
But
Looks like you got
but dude, Attack of the I remember being in the
Oh,
theater
shit,
for
I didn't-
fucking Attack of
I
the
didn't know
Clones.
you could
and
destroy
that,
some
I,
walls.
to be fair, I'm not trying to fight
that
you.
movie is fucking.
I'm not
just-
trying to fight you on Attack of the Clones is bad. I'm saying it might just be equal. Like,
I don't. At least
That's
there's
where-
some. At least there are some interesting like scenes and shots and stuff in the most recent one. Whereas Attack of the Clones has like nothing to recommend it except for. The,
I don't remember any scenes or shots that I thought of as interesting in the most recent one. I gotta be honest.
I don't know.
Look,
First-
if all the sequel trilogy gave us was Andor, it was worth it. Because Andor is fucking great.
It's not even from the sequel trilogy.
Yeah, I was gonna
that
say,
was like
does
its
it have
own
much to do
thing.
with
That's true. It's Rogue One. That's right.
I hate to break it to you, Eric, but there's more boobs happening
more
right now.
boobs.
Yeah, I
on
was trying to
screen.
see if there was a way to like.
But you turned the nipples off, Eric.
I turned my nipples off, not all the nipples.
There's 2 nipple sliders.
I
Go
wonder if
back
there was a-
when
I
when
was
you're
looking to
done, we
see
can
if there
switch
was
it
a
to
way
mature
to-
or whatever. I don't think we're gonna get banned for. Also, like nobody watches her. Not enough people watch.
Yeah,
her
but there might
streams,
be a
too.
robot that can tell if. You
That's
got
true.
nipples
There
on
might be.
your- I don't know. I thought maybe there'd be a way to like turn. I'm surprised there's not a way to like.
Bob Google will
mosaic
know
that
that you were
out.
very naughty, Eric.
That's
It's like
right.
Bob
We're on-
Google,
Just listen.
Yes.
Put your hand up in front
like
of your
Mr. Google himself.
Yes,
hand
the
up
one and
and-
only.
front of your monitor and don't look at the boobs if they offend you.
Sandra George.
So anyway, yeah. So we had they put a chip in her head that blocked her tracking thing. So we had to come in and pull it out, and then now the trauma team will come up.
Is it going to be hella anime like the Wii game?
I wish, yeah.
I want a game that changes genres like that, you know?
Hey, have you guys seen Pulp Fiction?
No, what is
You
it?
put her down real hard on the ground there, Eric.
I mean,
I don't
she's
think
all,
that was
look at
helping.
the beads of water, man. She's a slippery naked lady.
Scav rats abandoning ship.
Look, Eric's not on the trauma team, okay?
Fuera, get her out. Terrorists.
If I stay in the shadows, you can't really see the nipples. That's all.
Okay, it's fine.
Speaking of things that I watched, that there Mario movie. Saw that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, how
like
is
it?
that? I keep
Well, I mean, I
hearing
went
that
with
it's about what you expect, and
It's
you know.
exactly 100% what you expect, and it's totally fine. I would describe it as fine. You will sit down, and a movie will play for 90 minutes, no more, no less.
I mean, at least it's
There,
short.
there will be a few good parts, there will be a few bad parts, and there will be a lot of stuff that's just kind of there. There will be a 100 trillion references to every Mario game and Mario adjacent game ever. And yeah, I don't know. I was with my son, so obviously it was fun to do that with him and just kind of be able to compare notes and stuff.
I've seen people with kids all say like, yeah, it was really fun to see like a bunch of kids excited about Mario, and I'm like, all right, well, I'm 37 and have no children, so like, do I give a shit? The answer is like, probably not.
The answer is no, you don't really.
Yeah,
like,
I don't think so.
Should have followed orders.
Well, I know me, and I know I don't. But I guess I'm speaking metaphorically for someone who's like me, and I don't think they do either.
Shit show's over.
I didn't know you can blast
Cutting my wires
holes in
now.
the wall like
See you in the
that.
near future.
But that's fine.
That's
I think the
yummy.
weirdest part of the whole movie is that there are parts of it that literally use Mario mechanics, like taken directly from specific games in the series. Like when they go Mario Kart racing, like they drift and they generate purple sparks and they use those. And like at one point they build their Mario Karts and it's literally the 3 kind of sliders that you can, like the 3 slot
The
wheel
wheels
things from Mario
and
Kart 8
yeah,
Deluxe.
Right. Oh, they even get a parachute. They get to pick their hang glider or whatever.
They get to pick their hang glider.
Okay, of course. That feels almost.
Why won't they
like
put Funky
too
Kong in Mario
faithful.
Kart? They let him drive a cart in the movie, but they won't put him in the game. It's
How about I
bullshit.
drive you
right.
home, huh?
She's all yours.
I know, it's fine. It's just,
Yeah, I mean,
man,
it
there's a
looks
lot of
like-
good animated movies out there these days.
Tell her the
Like,
job's done.
There are, yes, and this one looks great. I'll give it that much. It looks just a gorgeous movie. But I mean, it's not designed to be a great movie. It's designed to be a great product, and you know, succeeds on that level. I think.
I think I'll probably be okay if I pass on that one. But
I would
Yeah.
just, if you want to see it, just wait for it to hit streaming. Like,
yeah.
What we agreed.
there's not really anything in there to surprise you. Like, even like everyone's all excited about the Jack Black song, and I'm like, I mean, I love Jack Black, but it's exactly what I expected out of him, right? It's,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
I could,
I mean,
I
I
could have
heard
seen him
he's
just.
definitely the best part by far. Like that's pretty much the.
I mean, I think what the
universal-
best part for me is the graphic design. Like the visuals are extremely good.
What if Nintendo had modern technology and made a
Swing by to see you later.
I think.
Heart.
No, go ahead.
really nice
Oh, that's
looking
fine.
Mario game?
Words out, the NCPD
Well, I was gonna say, I
said
think
the
my
work's unlocked
like
and
I saw a tweet when that movie came out where they were like, I feel like any review that mentions that like a movie has Easter eggs in a positive like light should just immediately be disregarded. And I was like, I've never felt like so in tune with a human being as the person who tweeted that, because I just hate like. I kind of hate Easter eggs. I think I said this in the email thread. I don't
You
remember.
did.
But
You
yeah,
did.
okay.
I couldn't
I
tell if
hate-
you were being facetious or not.
No,
honestly.
no. I hate Easter eggs. I hate that like fan culture fandom idea of like, oh, I know that. Isn't that
Pandery.
so cool? Yes, exactly. It's like you're making like when in the first, actually back to the Star Wars trilogy, like in the first new, what was that one called? A new
Force
not-
Awakens.
Thank you.
A New
Force
Hope
Awakens.
2.
Yeah, I was literally gonna
Yeah,
say I was gonna
basically.
say A New Hope too, but yeah, like in Force Awakens, where it's like, remember the little robot in the Millennium Falcon? It's like, yeah, dude, I do, but like, what have you got? Like, what is your new? What are you bringing to the table?
Well,
You
but
know
an
what I mean?
an Easter egg shouldn't detract from that, right? Like a like
It does though.
It's
like
not.
I feel.
I think it's one of those things where you can do that if you want, but if that's all you've got, then you've got nothing.
Well, right, if that's all you...
That's
but,
the
like, I think there's also a difference between an Easter egg and a reference, right? Like, just referencing a thing and being like, look, it's the thing you remember is different than, like... Like, when I think of an Easter egg, I think of, like, in the new Resident Evil 4, right? Like, at the very beginning, when you go into the basement of the house, in the background, there's this hook hanging on the wall, like, in, like, a workshed kind of environment, right? And, like, if you are not, like, a super big fucking Resident Evil nerd, like, it's just a piece of the scenery. But if you're a big enough dork to know that, like, there were multiple builds of Resident Evil 4 that were unreleased, there was the Hookman build, and the hook is literally the exact hook that the, quote, Hookman ghost, like, used in the beta version of Resident Evil 4 that never got released. And, like, that's an Easter egg, right? Like, that's gonna have no bearing on if you notice it or not. It means nothing to you if you don't know what the fuck it is. It's only just like a wink to someone who's like,
Then
I recognize that hook, but it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't, like, it's literally just a background detail that only certain people will notice and give a shit about.
Thank you, Joseph. Let me amend my statement. I hate references, and people also commonly mix up reference with Easter egg.
That's probably true.
Let's go with that. Because people were like, look, like, it's like they're walking down a build, like, outside, and it's the same layout as, like, stage 1-1. Isn't that neat? It's like, that's not literally, like, anything. Who fucking cares?
What is up with this face on this police officer?
It's good.
It looks like from an Xbox 360 game.
It's good.
It's from Morrowind.
It's Robert Zadar in Morrowind.
This game, it's still... Sometimes, man, I don't know.
That's a shame.
Look at him. No model
But,
citizen, man.
yeah, I mean, yes, they're like... I mean, just dumping a bunch of stuff into the background.
Oh, I'm dead.
Let them through. But
I'm sorry to hear that.
No, I didn't die, but Makoto got me with her command grab, and that's fucking a bad time.
Command grabs, man. They're rough.
No, just Makoto can, like, oh god.
How you doing, bud?
I'm fine. Makoto's hella good. Anyway, don't worry about it.
I'm not. I don't like Street Fighter 3 very much. So.
Fuck you, man. Third Strike's the best. I'm terrible at it, but I always have been. However.
Look, man, I know that I always feel like it's one of those games, man. It's like Adventure of Link, honestly. It's like people are like, no, it's
crazy.
It's really good. And I'm like, all right, I'll give it another shot. And every time I try it again, I'm just like, I still immediately bounce off of it. And I'm like, yeah, I guess I can kind of see what people are talking about, but also, like, it just doesn't work for me. Like,
you don't have to like every game, Joe. Like Resident Evil 4, for example.
You do have to like Third Strike, actually. It's illegal.
I mean, look at, man, here, I'll tell you this about Third Strike. It might be the best looking, like, sprite-based, video game of all time. I don't, like, the competition is not, like, there's not a lot of competition for that title, because that game looks fucking amazing. But I don't really enjoy playing it. I like looking at it. I think the character designs are sick as fuck.
Oh no. I'm in trouble.
But I don't really have fun playing it. It's way too defensively minded. That's my problem with it.
Bro, what are you talking about? This dude's fucking crazy over here.
The game where there's a special fucking defense technique that's like a major part of the system, and if you don't learn how to do it, you'll never be good.
No, I just, people who are good at the game, it's just, you're just doing fucking, you're just playing as Yun, and you're just, like, wall-to-wall comboing people, like, juggling the fuck out of them, like, I can't do that, but, like, there's tons of people who, like, can just, like, from
What's the most well-known Street Fighter 3? What's the most well-known thing in Street Fighter 3 history?
Excuse me, it's not Street Fighter 3, it's just any fighting game. It's worse.
Uh-huh. Right. I rest my case.
I don't think that makes the game defensively minded. You know what I mean? It has like a game having defensive tools doesn't mean it is defensively minded.
It has
Eric,
one
that was a boob.
extremely specific. Yeah, that's a couple boobs. It
is.
has one extremely
It's the
noteworthy
three
defensive
mouths, one
tool that
desire.
everybody.
Explosion of taste.
Did Eric, are you and I the only ones here who saw wow, no, I can't. What was the Cronenberg movie with the extra body parts?
Existence?
Something about the
No,
future.
the most recent one.
Yeah, Crimes of the Future.
Crimes of the Future.
Crimes of the Future.
Yeah. Probably,
That's
yeah.
the triple mouth ad reminds me of the ear guy in Crimes of the Future.
I feel like I should see it now.
That's a great movie.
Look, man, if you're interested in,
If you're like blue is the warmest color is hot, but what if she was licking open surgical incisions instead of another lady's vagina? Then have I got a movie for you?
I was gonna say, if you want to like have like some weird questionable boners like that, have I got a movie for you?
I mean, I think you both said essentially like just Eric.
It's called
Eric was
Basket
just more
Case.
detailed.
It's called Basket Case.
Oh yeah, my local nonprofit movie house is showing Basket Case 2 coming up.
That's a bad movie.
Bad to not watch.
No, it's bad. It's really bad.
I mean, but you know, you gotta admire the chutzpah
no.
of showing not Basket Case,
No,
but Basket Case 2.
Yeah. Anyway, I think I'm finally gonna go see John Wick 4 tomorrow. So
Oh yeah,
Oh,
you
nice.
should definitely
we
do
can
that.
finally talk about that.
I just
I
got
hear
caught up
this
on the
one,
older John Wicks.
stabs a guy and shoots a guy. Is that right?
Does he say yeah?
Did you
at
like
some
those?
point?
Did you like those, Mike?
I thought 2 was ridiculous, and then I thought 3 was more ridiculous, but maybe that's what I needed.
Yeah,
2 is my least favorite
gonna
of all
say,
four
I
of them.
think
2
I-
I think is the weakest.
I finally
seems to be the
saw 3
general
recently as
consensus.
well, and I agree with that sentiment.
One
It's
is
like-
it's weird because 1 is the best one, and then 2 is the weakest one.
Well, it's
in
because
my
if they're gonna take it to the super ridiculous extreme, they need to go all the way. And 2, I don't know, it feels kind of like a half
2
measure a
does
little
feel
bit.
kind of like a half measure of silliness.
And I mean, maybe it had to happen because if they ramped straight from 1 to 3, I think people would have just been like, "What? What are you talking about? What?" I don't know. I don't necessarily think that they need all the like overarching like, ooh, the table and the continentals and the adjudicators. Like, I don't really know that they need all that shit. But
The ballet school and the
I don't
They're
really know
making
how.
it
Like, like a show on like Hulu
yes,
or
they're
something?
making a show about the ballet
Well,
school.
it's like 3 episodes, I think.
with who's
Okay,
in
so
it?
it's a movie.
Yeah, it's a movie split into 3.
Yeah, right.
I mean, they did that with whatchamacallit, like Moon Knight or whatever. They're like, it's a TV show. It's like, how long is it? And like 3 episodes. Like, so how long is it? Like 2 hours. It's like, all right, it's a movie. Was it
The other
Thor?
thing-
Or not Thor. Loki
Hey,
was
look at,
that way.
hey, you guys.
Loki
I-
was 6 episodes.
remember
It
this
felt pretty
jacket?
TV showy to me.
Remember the jacket?
Okay. I thought it was 3. Never mind
Witcher
then.
stuff.
Anna de Armas is in the ballerina show. She's
Oh.
a titular ballerina, so
I also watched the John Wick 2 and 3 movies over like 4 or 5 chunks each as I was exercising. So, I mean, whatever little continuity there was within them, I totally lost. But I don't think it was.
I would say don't worry about it too much.
I did
yeah,
not.
don't
Yeah.
stress too much about it.
See Vic.
I
Let
did
him tell
not.
me what's got
Anyway,
me
I'm looking
thinking.
forward to watching 4 eventually. I don't know when, but at some point.
Yeah, if I don't see it in the theaters now, I probably won't get to. I'll have to wait till it. I think it's on streaming some stuff now.
That's probably true. Look, man, all I'll say about John Wick 4 is that Scott Adkins is a spin kick in a fat
How'd you
suit.
even know
So
my name?
I saw he was in it in a fat suit. And I was like, man, they're gonna do something with that. So
fuck yeah, they do.
yeah,
A spin kick is what they do, apparently.
there's probably
Yes.
more than that. I feel like Joe's holding out. on us, which
Yes.
is
Oh
good.
yeah, no, I don't want to spoil it for you.
Yeah, exactly. I said it was good. Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
I've been,
That's
I've been watching
crazy.
action movies when
Oh,
I
fuck.
exercise, so I'm getting caught up on the recent Mission Impossible movies. And
Those are good. They're making
I haven't
them 2 more of
seen-
those,
I haven't
right?
seen all those, but I really like Fallout a lot.
I'll say you
Fallout
really
was
like the
very
last
good.
one though. I feel like those are ones too where like, well, it's not quite the same as John Wick, but like they got like 2 is definitely the weakest of those as well. I think.
Which
by
is
far.
the John Woo one?
That's 2.
Two.
Is that too? Yeah.
I have only seen I saw 1 like 25 years ago, and then I saw 6 with you guys, and I watched 5 recently. And I've watched like the first half hour of 4.
I really didn't like
4,
the
5,
first
and
one
6
that
are
much
probably
either.
the best one. 4, 5, and 6 are the
Right.
best.
The reason I
ones.
skipped out on all the other ones is because I didn't like the first one that much, and I really didn't like the second one, and so I skipped the next however
The
many.
third
of
one
them.
is fine, but the 4th, 5th, and 6th ones are the one.
Yeah,
that's
I
when
like
they get
6
big.
better than 5, and I'm currently 4 seems to be off to a good start. But again,
I
watched
saw
a bit.
1.
You should watch.
I
Six.
I did not like
You
1.
should watch. You
Fallout.
should watch.
Fallout is quite good.
Fallout.
Some
is
there's
Yeah, you
a-
should just watch
there's
Fallout.
some like the first the scene the stuff in France takes a little bit too long, but everything beyond that is pretty damn good.
Only the top fixer in night fucking city.
I do like the. I do kind of like the first one though. Like, I remember seeing that when I was a kid and being like,
Yeah.
"Oh, this is
I
like."
was really let down by that, but
Yeah, I had watched a bunch of the 90s TV show, and I don't know, I didn't like the way they kind of did the entire IMF team dirty.
Yeah, there was the in the TV show. Alex was the basis for the NES game. There was the remade TV show, the
90s
sequel
TV show?
show, the 80s. I thought it was 80s, but yeah.
Well, maybe.
Well, joke's on you. I never played or was maybe even aware of that game.
Thanks.
Yeah,
Much appreciated.
it was an ultra game, so you know.
Cool. So you know it's good.
So you know that's right.
Rides like it looks.
I feel like most of the games that Konami put on the ultra label were like the second tier.
Let's be
It
How
was
many-
literally
It
the
the
second
literally
Ninja
tier,
Turtles,
right?
the
Yeah.
Ninja, except for the Ninja Turtles arcade game. Like that's the one. I feel like that's the one ultra game that is actually really good. Like Metal Gear is okay if you kind of either use a strategy guide or spend a lot of time figuring out what the fuck's going on.
I was supposed to stop by Vic's anyhow.
But
I got a date.
Oh, got him.
You don't say.
did you command grab him, Alex?
No, I'm playing this for you.
No.
Really gets me, you know.
Did you do the sick ass fucking super Shoryuken?
Nah, man. I use Shinkudoken.
Okay.
I like to have the EX moves. Oh, but Alex, dungeon setups. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, what the fuck, man?
Yeah, this is it.
Alex, how come you don't play more Street Fighter the movie on Saturn?
There is a scene for that. People
I'm sure
do play
there
that.
is. I'm
Yeah.
sure there is.
The cool thing about fighting games now in the age
here
of
it is.
Discord is that you can
There's the
find a
window with the
Discord
fucked
for
up
literally
reflection.
anything. Especially with
Show us.
Fightcade now, people will just literally play anything.
all right, here's what this guy is supposed to.
What the fight cave?
Fightcade
Got
is
no
a thing.
pants on.
It's like an emulator that you can play arcade
There he is in the
ROMs
reflection.
online with like good rollback netcode.
What the fuck is going on?
What?
You just missing all the details, or
Yeah,
it's not very clear to
Yeah,
me.
he's in potato mode when you look in
Yeah.
the reflection. And do you have all the shit turned on?
Yeah, this is with all the shit.
Yeah,
turned
this is
on.
all the shit turned on.
And nipples turned off.
And no
Right,
nipples
all the
on.
shit except for nipples.
I don't know.
Nipples
I
turned on,
haven't. Let me
dicks
try.
turned off.
Let's see what it looks like if I turn all the stuff off. Maybe.
Then
there's
he just
something
looks
ab-
like that. Then he's in potato mode, and
You're
just
just
a-
assuming that's his reflection when maybe that's a TV screen with a
Oh,
Dreamcast
maybe.
playing on it.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Oh no! Look, if you turn everything off, then you get like no. You just like
You're
this
actually
is
playing
Shenmue.
reflection.
he just
You're
doesn't
playing a
have
Persona
reflection
game, and that's his
anymore.
true self.
Yeah. No, this isn't me. And you want to tell him not to reject his other self, but he does
Yeah,
anyway.
dude,
Because
yeah,
have
yeah,
you
yeah,
fucking
yeah.
seen the way
Yeah,
that
yeah,
guy
the bu-
looks? Yeah.
Yeah.
The real me would have more polygons than this. Hmm.
Well, I guess it doesn't matter which way you ray trace. So, listen. ray tracing.
Any way you ray.
It's in the game, but
Any which way you can.
Maybe we still need to work on this a little bit. I don't know. Anyway.
Won't be a problem for me until I finally decide on a good graphics card to buy.
Yeah. Well, I would say wait a few more years, probably.
A guy I work with just got a 4080, and he's been playing this actually.
Has he? Do you like it?
Checking out the pathfinding stuff and all that. Yeah, I mean, he seems to. I think he played it before. He's just, now he's got a fancy graphics card, so he wants to do what you're doing, which is check out all the cool lighting effects.
Not that cool sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes this guy's playing on the Windows a potato.
Sometimes, yeah, it's the window into 1999.
Also, he doesn't even have the cigarette in the reflection. It looks like
No.
the cigarette is just gone.
Let's see what these guys look like. Nice beards.
How come you don't have? Are you a vampire?
I don't have a
in this
reflection.
game?
I do have a body though. If you look down, you can see your body.
That's weird. Why don't you have a reflection?
I don't know. Those guys, do they have beards? in the
dancing.
reflection? I don't know.
The
Anyways,
mod.
that's
like
it. That's it for Cyberpunk. At
did
some
it.
point, I'm gonna play some more of this probably. But there's a lot of video games out there, so
I'm like unreasonably bothered that you don't have a reflection now.
you should.
I hadn't really noticed that before,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden I was just like, wait a minute. You're
I don't know,
staring
I
at this
wonder if-
window
is
and you
that
don't
an
have a
option?
Also, speaking of games that strain your computer, I got the latest DLC for Vampire Survivors, and I don't turn any of the stuff off, right? So all the numbers and all the particle effects and everything, and it there's there are
Maybe I
so
had an
many
option
weapons
turned off.
now.
That looks a little better. It still is a little.
Yeah, that's still pretty weird.
But he has
there's
some detail to it. I wonder what option I had turned down. I still don't have a reflection though.
Subsurface scattering, maybe, or one of those weird things. There's so many weird weapons.
Wow,
with
her
the
shoulder
ton of-
things are so bright.
that I don't think it's actually my rig, but Vampire Survivors kind of it just slows to a crawl in the back half of any run now, to the point where I've stopped picking up items that generate curse because it makes the game run even more enemies pour in and the game runs even slower. So I just I'm not getting the gold ring. I'm not getting the.
I got
all
some
that
LED
stuff.
bracelets. I'm gonna see if I can put those on.
Oh yeah.
Although doesn't seem like maybe there's no way to.
What about shoes that make you 1 pixel taller?
I know. There's lots of different. Some office.
I like that you're in the put up your dukes pose, and it's kind of making me wish. Although I'm sure that it's not that the fist fighting in this game is just like Xenoclash fist fighting.
There's a new one of those out, man.
There's a new one.
Is there really? No way.
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
It came out if it's not out, it came
It
out
is
a
like
month
an
ago.
open world game set in that universe. I'm waiting for it to go on sale, and then we'll check it out that time. I can't.
It looks fucking cool. Yeah.
I mean, it looks like fucking Xenoclash.
It still look like Xenoclash?
Which is a
Yeah.
fucking nightmare.
I mean, Clash Artifacts of Chaos is the name of it.
Yeah.
March 9th
Holy
just
steam.
came out.
It's been out for a little bit. Yeah, it's super weird. I don't know. Anyways,
You play you fight you just go around the world and find people, and you play a little dice game, and then that gives you an advantage or disadvantage going into the fight, and then you have to just fight them.
Yep.
And there's random enemies all around, and yeah, it's cool. It looks really neat.
well,
It does.
I mean, it looks horrifying, but
Well, okay. It looks unique.
Potato,
and-
potato.
Yeah. It's third person though, which is kind of weird.
Apparently, the guy who wrote the Talus Principle was involved in some way, which is interesting.
you like my sword.
When you start off you're dead, and then you find your body and blah blah blah. It's there's a bunch of shit going on. But hey, you know what? Like, more power to him.
Let's see what
Also, I didn't
happens.
realize that
Hang on.
Ace Team did that that sort of like pseudo ActRaiser thing that people didn't really like.
Yeah, Soul Seraph.
Yeah.
Yeah, again, not very
They've made
good.
a lot of games.
Yeah, apparently.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Brawlers and I don't remember what else. Well, have we seen all the dystopian future has to offer?
I think that's all. In this version, in this game, I didn't get the cool shotgun. I just got this weird pistol. Oh, hey, what's up, bud? All right, that's it. That's it for this. That's it for tonight. I don't know. We'll check back in with ray tracing in a few years and see where we're at. But it's got a ways to go. Yeah, that's my opinion. I know people are very excited about it, and you can spend a lot of money to make it work, but until the art is made with the ray tracing in mind, it just doesn't seem to have much point unless it's the reflection of your what's her face in the windows and control.
Jesse Faden.
Yeah. Anyways, all right, that's it. Good night. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.